is in your mind. And I'm going to turn this off. The best place to do your thinking is in your mind. Once you have it in your mind, you can think about anything you want. My image is kind of warped. I'm a poet. My name is John Billett. I have one brother, one nephew, two nephews, a niece, two great grandnephews, and two sisters. One older, you never know. One younger, you never know. The youngest one in the family, the most responsible and loving to humans. My other sister's most loving to her animals. Can't blame her. I'm most loving to human animals. I don't believe in keeping people homeless. You know, it's a crime, and one of these days it will be punished. And all these millions of people who suffer starving in garbage bins and garbage, starving in garbage. I've heard about it in different places in the world. People starving in their own garbage, and it's a pity. And you know, it's a pity, but here we have tough rules. I just watched a guy who played in Archie Bunker, Carol O'Connor. He was in that police show Sparta. The police in Sparta. I think it's Tennessee. It's supposed to be here. Sparta, Georgia, Tennessee. I think it's Tennessee. But you can see by my TV lights that I'm really not here. I'm a ghost. I'm at the Debik. They call it the Debik. It's a Jewish spirit. It's not a real ghost. It's just a spirit. I'm going to sneeze. A sneeze is contagious, man. It's just as contagious as a yawn. See, you've got to... I sneeze twice. Usually. When I'm working late at night, I sneeze twice. And I don't like sneezing, but I have to sneeze. Everybody has to sneeze. Everybody has to go sometime. You know, let out that big sneeze, and then wear the rear end, and then you just tip over and die, and that's the end of it. And I'm not looking forward to that. You know, I'm 69 years old, and people tell me that I have no problems. People tell me that I have plenty of problems. Nobody tells me I have plenty of problems but myself. And that's probably where I went wrong. Also, the immediacy of what you do is what screws you up. When you're rushing to do things and you're in a rush to do things, then you're going to screw them up. When you're not in a rush to do things, you never screw them up. And that makes sense. And no, I don't believe that there was cocaine found in the White House. I think someone planted it there. They'll find out about it. But Now the swing is in reverse, and it seems like the Trump supporters are going to get a lot of say as Republicans held out in the Senate. And I didn't like it, but they did it legally, so I guess it's legal. They put me under arrest. I guess it's legal. They knocked down my door already once and came and pointed a taser at my head in Larchmont, New York. This happened. I couldn't believe it, but it happened. I wasn't exactly the most popular person in the world at that point. But Larchmont, it's just a group where you wouldn't have any guns or the police would be violent or anything like that. The guy pointed a gun right at my head. He was gonna pull the trigger if I took my hands out of my pockets. Luckily, I did. I was sane enough to take my hands out of my pockets. I wouldn't let them in. They knocked down the door because I said that I didn't want them coming in because I thought someone was coming to mug me or something or beat me up, and that's not likely, but it happened to me in White Plains, so it could happen anywhere. And I thought people were after me. I was paranoid. That's what happens to schizophrenic people. They get paranoid. The people are after them, and it's bad enough when someone knocks down your door. They asked me if they tell me that they knocked down the door, but I told them slip some identification under the door, please, and they didn't do that. They just knocked down the door. They didn't have a warrant. They had no such warrant. It was a warrantless arrest, what they call a warrantless arrest, which is unconstitutional because you're supposed to have a judge. No, they don't go over this anymore since Trump took over. They don't go over it anymore. But it's unconstitutional. You have to have a judge's permission to knock down to get to search premises or to open a door or premises of an apartment or a door, or especially to knock down a door and go in and point a taser at someone's head and surround them with good friends and neighbors listening in. And, it made me nervous. I didn't know what to do. I was just blaring my TV set on full blast on the Playboy channel. And I joked my way out of the whole thing, and they were very good about it. They put away their guns and everything like that. And when I went and I think they handcuffed me, and they told me to take my hands out of my pockets. I don't know if they handcuffed me or not. I don't think they did. They might have. It was such a long time ago. Already, it's been 7 years, 5 years, these 7 years, and I've gone through a lot since then. I'm living in a senior center now for disabled people, and I find the people quite amusing and quite interesting and very fascinating, and just as fascinating as I am, and just as much of a blast and a kick and company and good spirits and good faith and good. Sue, who's our supervisor, she owns the house along with her husband Mike. Uh, she owns the house, and she's so sweet. She's the sweetest woman. She never loses her temper unless it's totally necessary. You yell at her and scream at her, and you get a response. But otherwise, she just ignores you and just goes along and play and is happy and is happy with her life and satisfied, or pretends to be. And I think she's a great pretender. But I'm a great pretender, so I wouldn't know what happiness is for beings. And she's happy all the time, and that's almost impossible. And she's a fantastic woman. She's just one of the nicest women I've ever met in my life. And I've met quite a few, and including my own mother. But my mother was a real one, and she said, "What can I do for you? What can I do to you?" That wasn't nice. I don't want to reveal it in public, but she's dead. My father followed me to my job in White Plains and separated from his second wife after 3 divorces and two separations. He separated from his second wife, and he uh, he followed me to White Plains. And when I quit my job, he left. He said, "Well, forget it. I don't. There's nothing to hang around for." I guess he thought. You know, he was always with me when I was at the library. Those 3 years, 2 years. But I could have done better. But the union's got people who are survivors. To survive in a union, you've got to be very tough. It's a hard life. That's what's wrong with America. People can't live with each other. They can't work with each other. It's hard. It's hard to do that. It's almost impossible. I was getting into fights with people. People switching around my books on me and stuff like that at the part-time library that I worked at, and they never do that at the Greenville Public Library, but they did it at the White Plains Public Library. And this woman was a relative of one of the rappers. What was his name, man? He was in movies and stuff like that. He's kind of compared to with the, he was in that one. What was the name of that one? Men in Black. You would know his name. You would know his name, Nina. Or who's ever watching, young people watching. Men in Black. Who was that? Who was that rapper? One of the first rappers. She was related to him. She was his aunt or something like that. And she used to bully me. She used to talk about the rappers and everything like that. And I thought it was a joke. Now I'm partially rap. I'm rapped out of my head. I talk about from the crypt to the tomb, fighting his glorious doom. I have the poem. Uh, I should recite it actually. If I recite poems, that's what I do. That's what I like doing. But I have a TV show which this is supposed to go on to, and hopefully will go on to. And Dina will get this message if I can help it. And you know, this country's so polarized right now that I don't know like me to be on TV because I just make fun of Putin, and I think the country's going to support Russia again. It's going to do a reverse. They find cocaine in the White House. Trump takes over. They they reverse everything. We become friends with the Russians. They crack down on the Jews. All kinds of crazy things are happening. People are shooting each other up with dope and not with dope anymore, but because that you can the the stuff that they use now you can just snort and you can OD on it and heroin used to be able to OD. I had a friend who OD on heroin and they found it on the bathtub. That was a traditional place to end up, and that's where they put you. And after you OD'd, and so I remember Victor Rizal. He was a great labor union leader, and it was blind. It was on Channel 5. Channel 5 has changed so much. Fox TV to Channel 5. Channel 5 used to be a sensationalist TV show. They used to have the likes of Alan Burke, Alan Burke, the Alan Burke show, and what's that guy's name? Martin Paints, and they had him on. Woody Allen had him on his show. I think Martin Paints. He was an interesting guy, and they used to have guys. A TV show where they'd have like Costa Nostra guys with masks on and talking about their life on the underworld, and that was the first bit of that, and And I never knew what was happening, but you still don't. And who does? Who knows what's happening in this country? Who knows who runs this country? They say 3 people. I can believe 2 or 3 people. But I hope that never turns out to be the case. But it might be the case right now. I don't know. My face is fading out. There it is. But I don't know whether that's true or not. I don't know how true it is. But could be true. Maybe it's not true. But in any event, it's scary when you told news people where to go, and started the Supreme Court started getting conservative against Roe versus Wade, and I think a lot of people are against what the Supreme Court said. Most majority of Americans want to have the woman to have the choice and want to have abortion clinics and want to have things like that. And but the people who don't want to have abortion clinics are very adamant about it, and very, very, very convinced that they're right. And I don't know. I don't know. I just I'm Jewish, so I go along with my faith. And abortions are okay. It's a woman's body. But I would say the last trimester, it's a little bit pathetic to have an abortion, but partial birth abortion. Well, my father's for that, and he got conservative as time went on, and but you never know when the mother's going to die and the baby's in danger or already dead, and the mother's in danger of dying, and they're in Texas and they're trying to make a decision about it, and and they saved the mother's life, so they come through. I love this country. I don't care, man. I love this country, and they make the right decisions. And I love what they're doing in the Ukraine. We're not committing soldiers there, but we're beating the hell out of the Russians. I don't think that's really funny. Because NATO's come to our assistance, and now we're considered the rough country. We're considered the rightest country now, and all NATO is with us with the with the president and the majority of people in the United States who voted him in, and the majority of people who voted Hillary Clinton in, and the majority of people who voted all those people in, and they don't like the majority. Number wise, it's come down to boxes of square inches of space that they have, miles and miles of space. They don't know what to do with the Arctic. It's a majority rule. Arctic rules of New York. Netherlands. That I saw in the Daily News. I like to come out of my cavern of my mind. Life is sublime when it changes from a riddle into a rhyme. Life is sublime when it changes from a riddle into a rhyme. Can't walk on water, but I run on air. Let me dig up my thoughts before they bury me. I always say that stuff. Those are my 3 quotes. I have a bunch of quotes. I was going to write a book of quotations, but let's get this done first and see how it goes. I experimented with this before, and I couldn't get it done. But the TV gives me good coverage, and that's all the coverage of TV anybody should have is this coverage. The president should be putting this coverage too, and this light, in the same light that I'm in, with shadows or substance and thoughts are passing modes of life, that people go through and suffer through, and with opinions and facts mixed up and squared away and all screwed up and imagined and made up and fictionalized, and even math is fictionalized now. Black holes, you know, they have pictures of black holes, so there's some proof to it. But the COVID thing, well, they had the COVID trucks, the ice trucks, and they were bringing those around, and people were in them and dead and frozen, and they couldn't figure out where to put the trucks. I guess they burnt. I guess they burnt the bodies. I don't know what they did with them. Buried them finally, or burnt them or something. Got rid of them. COVID's over, thank God. Oh boy, that was hell. They said that more people died in COVID, but I don't know how true that is. I don't know how true that is. How many people died in COVID? I know more than 2 people died, and anyone who's against COVID, I would say, is I can see you being upset about big pharmacies, big pharmacy companies, you know, big corporations, and they run people like they're cattle, and too much experimentation and too little progress. They probably have cures for a lot of things that they don't mention, or avenues of cures, and that's not even the way to do it. It's holistic. It's got to be done holistically, I think. And we weren't we weren't the medical people. We saved a lot of people with polio and vaccines and stuff like that did the trick. One guy I heard say, "Wait till I get the vaccine for COVID." Then like I said, it's true. They'll get a vaccine for COVID and they'll wipe it away. And we're so progressed that we found a quote unquote cure immediately. But God knows how many people are going to drop dead in the next 10 years. It hasn't been spoken about, but it's true. And I know it's true, but I'm alive, so I'm thankful that I'm alive now. And my eyebrows go up and down. When I get excited, my eyebrows go up. I get excited. That's how I get excited. Or a cat gets excited, or a dog gets excited, wags its tail, gets happy. So I'm happy to do this. And I have to continue this situation, this talk, and if I can copy it, that would be great. And I'm going to try to copy it, and hopefully I'll be able to copy it, and it'll go on. And I want it to go on LMC-TV, as I stated in my notes, doctor's notes, which he copiously kept, and my mother ran over when she was in a fit of rage and bring me to the hospital. Very interesting. I mean, wore the roses they were hanging on the windows, on the chandeliers, and that was one heck of a movie. And I saw that movie, and they were hanging on the chandeliers, fighting each other, and the chandelier fell, and they both got killed. And that's how it ends up. Not always. My father ended up pretty well, man. For his second wife, he had problems with her, and he just split away from her. Wouldn't tell her where he was. Wouldn't tell me where he was. And I yelled at him, but I told him I loved him at the same time. I whispered, "I love you." I said it louder than I whispered it. I said, "I love you," and I started shouting at him, and he listened. I think. I don't know what he heard, but who knows? God only knows. I think John Lennon made up with his father at the end, even though he was bitter about him. My brother made up with his father, and as his kid, and his kid's a real rebellious type, but he's very polite, and he's very outspoken, and he shouts. I hear him shout on the internet. I heard him shout and scream and about how people should go to jail for this and that and the other thing. I used to be that way myself. You learn as you get older that you're probably in a jail and you're probably going to end up dying anyhow. Whoever you are, no matter how great you are or how long you live, your fate is sealed, and we're all due for the same fate. Meet you in heaven, meet you in hell, meet you wherever. I mean, where the sun shines, up in heaven, up in hell. It gets hotter than hell up there in the sun. I always thought the sun was hell and the ground was heaven and cool, nice and cool. It's the opposite of what they think. They used to think that the Earth was the center of this universe, so that's all right. And the Earth was flat. It wasn't up until recently that the Pope realized that some certain things weren't true, and they said it, and that's past due. That's overdue. That's done with. Past is the past, but we're bound to repeat it, and people agree about that, but they don't agree, what the result will be. It won't be good. And I hope it never happens. I hope I'm wrong. I know I'm not, but I hope I am. Tough life. Millions of people are starving and living in their own garbage, like I said. And that's gone on for years and years and years. And we've let our waste all over the place, all over the world, all over the oceans. I heard in Japan they're going to dump the nuclear power plant into the Pacific, and it's going to affect the way people live. But the government let them, the Atomic Energy Commission let them dump like 280 pounds of toxic waste into the Pacific. Maybe it was 280 tons. I don't know how many tons it was. I got to pick my nose. Excuse me. I had a girlfriend who used to pick her nose. I didn't care. It didn't affect me. She wasn't picking my nose. They say you can pick your nose, you can pick your friends, but you can't pick your friends' noses. So this is really the first time I've had to chat, and I hope it turns into something. It usually doesn't because I can't save it, but this time I'm going to copy the top of it and spread it on my Facebook, or send it, put it in my documents and send it to LMC-TV. It's not coming out that well, but it's a, it's the beginning of a monstrosity. Any kind of art form is the beginning of a monstrosity, and it ends in a monstrosity, but a bigger monstrosity. It's like a firefly went by. Fireflies are in my room tonight. I saw a couple of them go by. They're in my room tonight. I don't know how they got here, but they got here. When I heard that they found cocaine in the White House, fireflies began to fly around my room. Very strange indeed. And I still don't know where my father's buried, and I'll never find out. They say that he's at the bottom of the ocean in Montauk, but I think that's a bunch of bullshit. And they never told me, and they took away my money, and become incapacitated. And I wouldn't be doing this if I was incapacitated. I'm long way away from incapacitated. They have relatives who are incapacitated legally, and they're going to get their stuff taken away from them like I got mine taken away from me. I was just a little bit thick-headed and stupid and juvenile and thoughtless. I stepped on people, I'm sorry about that to whoever I stepped on, and I stepped on quite a few people, talking about their dead teeth and waving at them and making faces at them and waving at them. And you see that? Live long and prosper. Looks like I'm some kind of devil or that book or something like that. Martian hands. Martian hands. Like Bengali. Bengali. So that's all I'm going to say for now. Hopefully they'll get this recorded. It's been 30 minutes of nonstop talking. Hopefully I'll be able to do it again. And let's see if we can save this. See if I can do it again. It's still running. And I don't know how to stop it exactly. I'm still alive. Hanging at the cover of my existence. And about them. That's all right. Abraham Lincoln called the N-word. He used it, and Juneteenth wasn't about slavery ending. It was about slavery ending 2 years later. Not too many people knew about that. My friend Carl didn't know about that. He thought it was the end of slavery. That's what we're celebrating. It was the end 2 years later that the slaves found out they were free, that Juneteenth was celebrated. I know nothing about slavery. I know that there were ghettos, Jewish ghettos, and that's where the word ghetto came from. And later on, there were black ghettos and black slavery and black ships coming to the United States, coming into Denmark, the Dutch West Indies Company. Chained head full of smoke and bodies piled up on each other and coming to the ports. And I don't know how true this is, but they hired a man who impregnated women, and that was his job. I saw that on TV. I don't know how true that is. That's probably a lot of garbage. But you know what I heard? That this is a secret, a Jewish secret, that what's her name? Anne Frank was wanted to enter the United States, and she was rejected from entering as a citizen. They kicked her out. They wouldn't let her in. She's trying to escape Nazism. So when you think about these migrants, some of them are escaping very intolerant countries, and let them go back to where they started. We don't own this land. The Indian Native Americans own it, and I hate to see what would happen if they took it back. My poor nephew, me, my children, my children's children. They're my children. My nephew's my children. My niece is my children. My other nephew's my children. He's my child. I'm giving them all my rights to my books. They're getting all my rights to everything. They're splitting out 3 ways. My brothers and sisters. I have no money. What I get, I'm going to give to them. And hopefully they'll be able to continue it. I'm going to try this again. I'm getting notices on Facebook. Nice to meet you.